Good morning. This is Jennifer Russell with Mississippi State University Extension Services of Washington County. Today I want to talk to you about the benefits of fiber. Oftentimes when we start a health journey, sometimes we don't exactly know what to eat, how much to eat, or what it is that we need to do. And so I assure you that fiber is one of the things that you definitely want to put into your diet. So when we start talking about the benefits of eating fiber, there are some key things that you need to keep in mind. One being that normally when you eat foods that are high in fiber, it's going to cause you, number one, to not want to eat as much. Because when we eat foods that are high in fiber, they have a tendency to make us feel fuller, and that's a good thing. The second thing that you want to keep in mind is that normally foods that are high in fiber, they cause us to actually lower our cholesterol levels. Oftentimes you'll hear people say that I have high cholesterol. Well, it may be, and not necessarily always, but may be that they're not consuming enough fiber in their diet, or they may have too much animal fat in their diet. But keeping focused on what we're talking about as far as fiber is concerned, keep in mind that fiber aids in digestion. It covers so many things when it comes to our health that we really need to know. Now, when we think about fiber, most of us do not consume enough fiber every day. And what I mean by that is it is recommended that we get at least anywhere from 25 to 30 grams of fiber every day. And of course, keeping in mind too that when you are introducing fiber into your diet, it is something that needs to be done slowly. Simply because when we think about fiber can cause you, of course, to be cramped. It can cause you to be constipated. It can even cause you to have diarrhea. And the reason why that is because I want you to remember this word. When you hear the word bulk, bulk is also another word that's used for fiber. And usually anytime that you have bulk within the system, it has a tendency to draw water. And so if we're not consuming enough water in our diets, then what happens is the bulk in your system, when you start to take the fiber in, has a tendency to pull that extra water that you're taking in, whether it may be from water that you're drinking or whether it may be from water that you have eaten from a food that you actually ate. Okay? And so when you do that, you end up causing what I call causing dehydration in the GI. And so you have to make sure that you're taking in plenty of water when you're actually taking in fiber, because it can actually do what I call an adverse reaction to what you're trying to accomplish in your health. Oftentimes when I talk to clientele and they talk about, well, Ms. Russell, I've implemented and I've placed more fiber into my diet, and I'm still not going to the restroom the way that I need to regularly. And automatically when they say that, it comes to my mind because I know that normally, unless there's another underlying condition, that is the reason why. And it is because they're not consuming enough water. Now, in the past, they've told us that as long as you get 8-ounce glasses of water a day, you are fine. Well, that's based on an individual that's probably 120 to 140 pounds. And that's not the norm for most Americans, okay? And so now the Institute of Medicine is saying that we need to consume at least 101 ounces of water every single day. And even for a person that's an athlete that runs or walk and they're sweating a lot, they need to consume even more water. And not only water, they need to make sure that they're consuming foods that have magnesium and sodium and potassium in it, because even though sodium may be an issue when it comes to high blood pressure for some, it still has a role that it plays within the body. And so we have to remember that. Also, there are two things that I do want to make sure that I go over with you before I close this session out. And that is that we have two different types of fiber. You have what we call insoluble fiber, and we have what we call soluble fiber. Well, insoluble fiber is going to come from things that are like 100% whole wheat bread. And the reason why you consume things like that is because it aids, again, with digestion for the body, making sure that waste moves throughout the body the way that it needs to. And the only way that that can happen is if we're taking in the fiber that we need, but we're also adding to that by providing water to the body every single day so that it can move through the digestive tract easily the way that it needs to. Normally when we start talking about bowel movements, those are things that should happen on an everyday occurrence. There's an underlying problem, something you need to go to the doctor and possibly see the doctor about. If you are going, if you are not going to the restroom every single day, that's something that should take place. And then when we start talking about soluble fiber comes from things like apples, pears. It also comes from things like bran, dried beans, which are wonderful because they're inexpensive for us to actually purchase. So again, I just want to make sure that you understand just how important it is that you consume fiber into your diet, and keep it in mind to read those food labels. Whenever you get a food label, look at it, read it, and see how much fiber is actually in that particular food. The more fiber it has, the better. I always tell people, if you can find something that has at least 8 grams of fiber in it, it's really good for you to consume, because again, you have to have anywhere from 25 to 30 grams of fiber every single day, and it's something that you need to gradually do so that you don't have what I call the cramping and the hurting, simply because we have to change with the amount of water that we're consuming as well. Again, this is Jennifer Russell with Mississippi State University Extension Services of Washington County. Should you have any questions about anything pertaining to anything that I've discussed with you on today, please feel free to call me at 662-769-9975, or you may reach me at jtb20@msstate.edu. Again, I hope that you have a wonderful day, and please reach out, share, like the video, do whatever you can to pass the information on any way that we can to help the people to become healthy. Again, I hope that each of you will stay safe. Have a wonderful day.